Civilization or Barbarism, an Authentic Anthropology by Dr. Cheikh Anta. Hence, the fact that when God started forming the body of the world, he first began with fire and earth, Geb and Nut. But it is not possible for two terms to form a beautiful composition by themselves without a third one, because between the two there must be some link that holds them together. Now, all of the links, the most beautiful is the one that gives the most complete unity, both to itself and to the two that it united. And that is the progression that naturally accomplishes it in the most beautiful way. The unicity of the relationships or the mediators that Plato assumes between the means and the extremes is false. In the case of the linear numbers or planes, as Revold points out, but this is only one detail that shows that Plato was never a mathematician in the sense of discovering theorems. He was simply a learned person who could follow mathematical reasoning that was not complicated and use it, if needed, in his mystical, superficial speculations, as in the passage below. But, in fact, it was convenient that this body, the body of the world, was solid, and in order to harmonize two solids, one mediator is never enough. There must always be two. Thus, God has placed air and water between fire and earth, and he has disposed of these two elements in regard to the others, as much as possible in the same relationship, in such a manner that what fire is to air, air was to water, and what air is to water, water was to earth. Tiamas 32b. This is truly a mathematical version of Egypt's Heliopolitan cosmogony. Plato's god, Ra, also made the visible and tangible, heaven, with the aid of the four elements of the Heliopolitan cosmogony, according to a divine proportion. The order of the elements indicated by Plato is identical to that of Heliopolitan cosmogony. Indeed, one knows that in the latter, Geb, the earth, and Nut, 5, sky, were united, and that Shu, air, had to separate them by suspending the sky in such a way that air and water finds themselves interposed between heaven and earth. Thus, the order of the elements is identical: earth, water, air, and heaven, which also corresponds to the apparent order or to the order of the densities. On the other hand, in the Egyptian cosmogony, the quandary of the solitary demiurge Ra ceased after he created the first Syzygy, Shu, and Tefnut. Thus appeared the first triad forming a divine unity. It is indeed this idea of the divine trinity that Plato seems to want to recover at all costs in his constructions. And only this can explain a senseless affirmation such as this, cited earlier. But it is not possible that two terms form by themselves a beautiful composition without a third one. The question is, why not? But let us follow, along with Plato, the making of the world's soul by the demiurge Ra. One recalls the three constituent principles, of which the third is a mixture of the first two. The demiurge divides the obtained composition into 7 parts, which are between them like terms of 2 geometrical progressions. The one with the ratio 2, 1, 2, 4, 8, and the other with the ratio 3, 1, 3, 9, 27. Tiamas, page 43. The demiurge recombines these 2 progressions in order to form a third one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 8, 27, in which a significant detail, until now unexplained, the demiurge has inverted, according to Plato, the order of the terms 8 and 9, without explaining why. This particular fact is singularly revealing as to the Egyptians' origin of Plato's inspiration. In fact, such an inversion, called respectful inversion, is imperative in Egyptian writing every time that the name of God is implied. The sign that represents him must come before all other signs, even if phonetically it should normally be at the end of the word. Here, in the third progression, 9 is indeed the number of the Heliopolitan Ennead, that is, of the 8 primordial divinities created by Ra, the demiurge, plus Ra himself. And we'll pause right here and continue back with civilization or barbarism, the conclusion in the 17th chapter. I'm Uriel. High's Heartless.